Hey everyone, Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. At the beginning of 2026, I showed you my study tracker and exactly how I plan to continue improving my Spanish this year. One of the main things on that plan was going through the entire Complete Spanish Grammar workbook. I started it in January and I just finished it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I got out of it, what was useful, what wasn't, and whether you should even bother using it. So, what did I do? I went through all 26 chapters. On average, I completed one chapter every 4 to 5 days, and I didn't skip anything. I did the exercises, I completed the paragraph translations, and I created Quizlet cards for new vocabulary. So this isn't a surface level review. I actually used the book the way it's intended to be used. There are two things this book does well. First, the paragraph translations. At the end of every chapter, you get a full paragraph in English that you have to translate into Spanish. This is the closest thing in a book to real speaking. Because when you speak, that's exactly what you're doing. You're taking a complete idea in English and converting it into Spanish in real time. So this forces you to pull from memory sentence structures and deal with gaps in your knowledge, just slower. That part is pretty solid. Second, vocabulary exposure. This book introduced a lot of words that are not in complete Spanish step by step. So if you actually capture those words, like I did with Quizlet, you will expand your vocabulary. But there's a catch. Once you get past those two things, the advantages start to drop off. If you've already gone through complete Spanish step by step, this book is mostly a slower review of the same material. Yes, there are small additions here and there, like more detail on numbers, fractions, or specific expressions, but there's nothing that fundamentally changes your understanding of the language. So from a return on time perspective, it's not very efficient. The bigger issue is how the book is structured. Instead of building sentences from ground up like nouns, articles, adjectives, pronouns, it jumps heavily into verb tenses early and only later introduces the core building blocks of sentences. To me, that's pretty backwards because verbs don't exist in isolation. They sit inside structures. So the learning sequence felt a little bit disjointed. But the real question is, does it improve speaking? This is what most people actually want to know. Does going through the book make you a better speaker? The short answer, no. More precise answer, it gives you more confidence and correctness, it gives you more vocabulary, but it does not improve speed recall or your ability to switch between structures in real time, because that's not what the book is designed to do. Even though it teaches things like compound sentences, passive voice, and other things, those structures don't get consistently recycled later in the book. So, for example, you learn something in chapter 10 and then you barely use it again. There's very little integration. And without integration, there's no automaticity. So what would I do instead? If the goal is review, I would have been better off going through complete Spanish step by step again, which would have been my 5th time. Why? Because the structure of complete Spanish step by step is more logical and the explanations are more methodical and the cognitive load is lower. You get the same author voice, you get the same progression, and you get less friction. Because if you're reviewing, you don't need novelty, you just need reinforcement. Now, an important clarification. This does not mean that complete Spanish grammar has no value. If you are early intermediate or you've never done structured grammar work, then yes, it can help. But if you've already completed complete Spanish step by step and you're expecting this book to push you forward significantly, it won't. It will mostly confirm what you already know. If your goal is to speak faster and reduce hesitation and switch between tenses naturally, you need something that trains recall directly. Grammar books don't do that. They explain, they may expand your vocabulary, but they don't train speech. But now that I finished this book, I'm moving on and I'm looking forward to learning new material. But at the same time, I'm still following my full study system, continuing my tracker, working through all 4 volumes of Structured Recall, and finishing the remaining episodes of Espanol C. And something else I added recently, a little bit of reading at night before I go to bed. If you want to see exactly what that full system looks like, I'll add my study tracker in the description of this video. But that's it. If you were thinking about using complete Spanish grammar, now you know exactly what you're getting and what you're not. Until the next video, good luck on your journey to building more functional, usable Spanish. Peace.